No, I don't know about the world, but I'm definitely ready. Going to
That's good.
going to Puerto Rico this weekend for a
Oh,
week,
nice.
to see all the crypto boys, as I
Yeah.
call them. We
We
really,
have, yeah, we have a few people there too in Puerto Rico.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
Jason and a few other people.
yeah. That's right. I'm
So
gonna go see Jason. He's a good friend.
right, right.
Well, I'll count down and we'll start. I know that you have a hard
Sure.
cutoff at 3 o'clock, right, or 4 o'clock your time.
Yep.
Yes, all right. So I'll just do 3, 2, 1, and then we'll go. So three,
Okay.
two,
Perfect.
one. Welcome, Alex. It's such a pleasure to have you here as a guest speaker for ARA Innovation Summit. We're just so blessed that you are sharing your time. I know you're extremely busy, and I also know that you are open to meeting with people, and that you're one of the people who have achieved an amazing and unbelievable success, and yet you still stay available and open to share your wisdom and to share your knowledge. And for that, you really inspire me for that. Thank you so much. And so obviously today I want to talk about Celsius. I mean, the crypto is growing, Bitcoin is growing, and we finally have this underlying infrastructure to not have to liquidate, and then still have ability to benefit from the growth cycle, right? I think it's amazing that we have platforms now that we can lend our cryptocurrency and then be able to redeploy money that we have, and then to have the loan against your crypto. I think is just unbelievable how much good could have been done, how much more good could have been done if we had this infrastructure many years ago, right? And so I'd like to ask you, why did you start looking at crypto? I mean, you've been very successful outside of the crypto world already. So what pushed you into starting to say, okay, I actually want to do this and I want to dedicate myself. And also when you began, it wasn't necessarily how do I say it, a sexy thing as it is right now. The crypto world is quite exciting world right now, and everybody wants to be part of it. But when you were building, a lot of people were losing their faith and giving up. And so what made you make the switch?
So I was looking at fintech ideas for a very long time, maybe 20 years or longer, but most of the traditional fintech is really failed to even put a scratch on the banks, right? I mean, the banks are more concentrated, more powerful, and more not acting in your best interest than ever before. So, so I think it was basically 2015 where I got the idea that uh, yields in the United States are going to go to zero, and that if we can really create yield on the blockchain, we will have all the money in the world to go after, right? So Bitcoin is exceptional as a store of value, but we really did not have a second killer app, right? The blockchain as a technology did not have a second app, killer app. And what Celsius created is this idea that you can earn yield on your coin, right? That you can earn 6% on your Bitcoin or 7% on your ETH, which are things that you cannot get in the real world. You cannot go to your bank and get even 1/10 of that. So the big idea was that banks are going to pay you less and less and less, and that crypto will be able to pay you more and more and more. And I can tell you that in 2016 and 2017, when we were kind of starting Celsius, like you said, there wasn't a single company in the world that was paying yield on a blockchain. So most people looked at us and said, what are you talking about? Alex, you had some good ideas before, but this one is really crazy, you know? So, so it was very difficult for us to convince banks and other people to just work with us. We couldn't even open a bank account, right? Because, as you know, banks are not friendly with crypto companies. So So we decided to focus on the community. We did the ICO back in 2017. We invited the community to help us build this product for them, right? And today we have over 300,000 users that gave us over $5 billion worth of cryptos, right? So we are the world's second largest asset manager in crypto, right? So only second to Grayscale. So we've proven that yield is the second killer app. And now there's a whole industry called DeFi that is just playing with this idea that we created. And there's hundreds of different companies that were created, all trying to do things a little bit different, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, but they're all trying to pay you yield, right? They're all trying to get you to do that. So I did, Celsius is my 8th startup as a founder, and my first 7 startups were all in the tech and communication and infrastructure. But I always wanted to do a fintech, so this was a great opportunity. Again, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, I needed a second killer app. I knew what the killer app was. And luckily for us, again, 300,000 people trusted us with their coins and proved we paid over $200 million worth of interest in 2 years.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And I mean, it's simply unbelievable. And
Masari, just one more point. Masari ranked Celsius as the best performing token for 2020. And every one of our top 200 Cell token holders, every one of them is a millionaire now.
That's amazing.
We created, so, you know, sometimes you see a company and the founder is a billionaire and no one else made any money, you know?
Yep.
And here we made sure that everybody who helped us in the beginning, everybody who wanted to help us build this product, directly benefited. Most of the value went to the community, it either went as interest or it went as value creation in the Cell token.
That's unbelievable, and it's such a great way to create business and to incentivize. I really believe that that's a pathway for our future. I do believe that kind of a traditional way of incentivizing people is going to change. You know, the closed door private, it's only for us and taking away value until there's no longer to pass it along to then fools, as to say. I think that model is just, I mean, I don't think that the world will tolerate that for any much longer. So, and you're demonstrating that there is an upside and the need to do it in a different way. How big is your team?
Yes, and just to add to this point you just made, that the slogan or the motto of Celsius is do good and then do well, right? So you must do good first.
Yeah.
And then you can do well. And for most people look at you and say, what are you talking about? Like the days of doing good are gone. Now you have to do well first. You become very rich, and then you can do a little bit of good. You know, you can do some donations. You can maybe sit on some charity board. And part of creating Celsius was also proving to a lot of skeptics that if you do good for enough people, they will also return the favor and will help build the company, scale the company, and so on. So we are a very small team. We're about 150 people.
Wow.
And so that's, again, in the scale of, again, there are many banks in the world that are less than 5 billion in assets, and they have thousands of employees, right? So we are much, much more efficient than a traditional financial institution. And we give 80% of the revenue that we create, 80% goes to the community, which is obviously not the case with any bank or any financial institution. So the principles under which Celsius was created were, okay, we're going to put our customers first, we're going to put our employees second, and just recently we actually, all of our employees got a bonus, when the Cell token went over $1.50. We committed, back in the white paper, when we published the white paper in 2017, we committed to wait until the community made enough money and only then give the employees the bonus, right? Most companies, as you know, they give the tokens immediately to the founders, to the employees, and those people basically usually sell or dump in the community as fast as possible. Here, we put the community first. We allow the community 2 years from the start of the project for them to buy or to sell, whatever they wanted to do, but they had plenty of time to do what they wanted to do before Celsius and its employees were allowed to participate in the games. And actually, the token went like crazy from $1.50 to $6.50 because everybody thought that the employees immediately were going to sell. And not one employee sold their token.
Yeah.
So those things are the things that improve. When you do good, you're going to do well.
I agree with you, and I think that it used to be to where you had to do well. That's an old model. I'm not sure what people refer to that it used to be that you had to do good. I think we kind of lived in a world where do well and then drop some crumbs to wherever you feel like, but do well first. I do believe we live.
Yeah. Drop some crumbs, fix your image, because obviously you stole from somebody or you did something bad.
Yeah.
So look, I mean, it depends where. Like the joke, on Wall Street, the joke is that if you want a friend, go get a dog. Because on Wall Street, usually if you win, somebody else loses.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, as a founder, it's almost always a win-win scenario. Meaning you're creating a company, you're creating new technology, you're creating opportunities, and everybody wins. And in the crypto community, if we bring enough people into crypto, and the use case scales, right? The use case is the store of value, or the use case as yield generation, then it's a win-win. Everybody inside crypto wins, and everybody outside crypto loses. So that is what's so difficult for Wall Street and the banks to understand. It's very difficult for them because they used to one side wins, the other side loses. Because in their world, there is no scenario of a win-win.
And what I love about crypto too is that it's not a closed network. Anybody can participate. So those that are losing, they have freedom to make a choice and to start winning, right? I think that's really interesting shift too, because we kind of used to live in a model to where everything was about exclusivity. And the crypto world, it really is about community. I really appreciated that you guys went through 2017 and 18 and 19 and 20, and you were able to establish standards as well. Because a lot of people, as you know, of course, and many viewers know, that 2017 was a very lucrative year for crypto, and there were a lot of people that were building businesses and saying that they're doing things, but at the end of the day, they didn't reflect that in the white paper. A lot of bad things happened, but yet you guys, you stayed on top of your mission. You made sure that you're clean and that you're clear, and you understand the importance of also a long-term strategy. That it wasn't just a money grab, an opportunity time, but an actual investment in the well-being, I think, of really world, because we need the service. The service that you provide is so important as an infrastructure. I think it allows us to really kind of neutralize those ups and downs that scare so many people when they think about participating in the crypto industry, right? Because it again, that time when you have to get some money. If you're holding only crypto, for example, right, in a down cycle, is a very challenging thing. An ability to have a trusted infrastructure that is regulated, to be able to go and get a loan against that crypto, to be able to go and participate in the world and pay the bills or buy the food or whatever it requires, or for some people, maybe even continue their business doors open, right? I think that is so important, because then it allows you to hold on to crypto, and it's as you and many of us know, it's a very hard thing to do in a world where the cycles go so dramatically up and down, and especially when on the way down everybody loses their faith and things that,
It's like any religion, you get tested during the hard time, not during the good time. So, and here, I agree with you, that Bitcoin was down, I don't know, 70, 80% from the highs, or Ethereum was down 80% from the highs. And so I think, like, to your point, I mean, the people on Wall Street are used to making millions of dollars and not really working hard, right? I mean, they take 3 months vacation in the Hamptons, they travel the world, they do a few deals and they're done. Crypto doesn't work like that. Crypto is 24/7. So it's going to be very hard to take those people from Wall Street and bring them into crypto. They're just not used to working this hard. So I'm not expecting too many. It's also much more technical, right? So the idea that one person can write a protocol, publish it, and hundreds of millions of dollars show up, right? And suddenly everybody's doing farming or whatever, and everybody benefits, is unheard of, right? Unheard of, right? I mean, the average trading floor on Wall Street, Goldman Sachs probably has 5,000 programmers sitting there writing code and optimizing or manipulating the market or whatever. So I think DeFi is just a completely different animal, right? A different DNA. So you can't really almost compare the two. And that's why it's so hard for people to transition from one to another. I mean, the reason for me it wasn't even difficult because, again, this is my 8th startup. Every startup I had as a founder, I went through ups and downs and not being able to raise money, missing payrolls, like all that stuff. So for me, yes, it was painful. It wasn't fun, 2018, 2019. Yeah. But we knew that we were acting in the best interest of our users. Our users love us. You can just go on Twitter, go on Telegram and see what people say about Celsius Network. And so we knew we were doing good, right? We knew that, I mean, the stories I get every day, just like tears in your eyes of how people telling you changed my life, you helped me, you got me out of trouble, I didn't think I'm gonna even, it's worth living, right? I mean, just, I get these thank you letters every day, and so even when you are, you feel like, okay, this is not working, or the team, the community, holds you up, right? They send you these messages, and you can't quit. I mean, you can't quit.
You can't walk away from that, right?
You can't walk away from it, exactly. So now everything is great, and everybody's a millionaire, and we are the 18th top ranked project, right, in the world. We were just last year, we were number 2,000. So in 1 year, we went from 2,100 to top 18, right? And again, credit doesn't go to me or to my team. Credit goes to the community, because everything we do starts with the community trusting us with their coins, right? And so definitely, I mean, we had $550 million worth of AUM on January 1st, 2020. On January 1st, 2021, we had over 5 billion in assets, right? Yeah. So that's just phenomenal growth, and so again, it's a humbling growth. I every time I speak to a customer, I just thank them, because all the credit goes to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And also to your organization, and also to you, because you survived, you stayed, your persistence and perseverance, you did not give up in the hard times, and so many have. And so as we are embracing the growth cycle, I do believe that it's really nice to know that you guys are doing this, that you actually did what you went out to do. Because to me, seeing all these ups and downs, being in the space since 2013, it's almost people come in the growth cycle, and then they all leave, and then there's all this kind of it's always opportunistic, and not a lot of things stick. But you guys stuck through and you grew
Yeah.
through, right? And I makes
Right.
me feel hopeful. I really appreciate that you did that because you're maturing our community, you're maturing the industry, you're making it to where people can trust it better, and it's wonderful.
No, I agree with you. I think, look, in 2017, we were the only project, seriously, the only project that filed with the SEC and filed with the FinCEN, right? The only project that said from day one, we're going to do full KYC and AML. Everybody looked at us and said, why are you doing all that? You don't need to do that. It's more expensive. It's going to slow you down. You're going to lose users because people can just go and avoid doing that on Binance or some other exchange, right? And we said, no, from 2017, basically, or even 16, we decided that there was no conflict between being fully compliant and being a blockchain company.
Yeah.
And most other projects said, no, I don't need to be compliant. I'm offshore, or I am going to pretend like I don't serve Americans, or whatever. And we knew that that was not a solution because, long term, the regulators and the institutions and everybody that you're supposed to work with, they're going to be looking through the magnifying glass to see if you're a good actor or if you're a bad actor. And this is when all of the users and all of the money is going to go to the people who are the good actors. And that's what we're seeing right now, right? This year was the year when everybody had to make a choice. Okay, for yield, who am I using for yield? I cannot use DeFi. None of them are compliant. I cannot use some of these offshore entities that are, you don't know if they're in Switzerland or they're in Panama or they're in Malta or whatever. You have no clue where they are. There's not even an address on the website. So you can't give money to these people, right? So there were very, very few options. And obviously it helped us that we are always acting in the best interest of our customers, right? We're not neutral. Like most exchanges, they're neutral. They don't represent the buyer or the seller. They don't represent the borrower or the lender. Celsius always represents the depositor, always represents the borrower, never the lender, right? So we are not neutral. Our job is to always protect the community and get as much interest as possible from the institution, from the exchange, from the people that an individual can never get that deal, right? Only we can get the deal because we have 5 billion in assets, 5.5, right? So I agree with you. I think it looked very difficult and complicated back in 2017, but it proved to be the right strategy. And one by one, you're seeing everybody trying to copy Celsius now, right? When it comes to yield, every DeFi project, every CeFi project is basically either coming up with a rewards program that looks just like the Cell token, or is coming up with yield platforms that pay yield just like Celsius does every week, compounding and so on and so on. So, but again, all that matters is how much did you pay your community, right? That's all that matters. I mean, did you give them most of the value, or did you keep it all to yourself?
And also doing everything right. I really appreciate that you mentioned the SEC because, crypto community used to believe, and I think we still have a little bit of that bias to where kind of if they haven't reacted right away, then they're just not going to. But one thing I do know about SEC is that they're slow, but very thorough, very, very thorough. And there's
if they grab you, they don't let go. They're gonna,
and once you're
that's right.
And once you're in that list, lots of roads are closed. Right. Yeah, so it's.
Look, I mean, when Binance, for example, announces that they made $1 billion in 2020, right? They're bragging. We made $1 billion. I remind people, they made the $1 billion. You didn't make anything.
Yep.
You paid that $1 billion. You paid. Yep. So we brag about how much we paid to the community. That's what we brag about. Right?
And that's what it's all about. That's why I think that's the ethos of crypto, and that's why in the end of the day, most of people that are active participants and builders in blockchain and crypto world, I think that's the drive is for us to excuse me, to say, you know, there's different incentives. We don't have to work in the way to where there's somebody that loses. We can actually redistribute, and we can use this technology to be able to redistribute incentives to where we can all win, and we can all win together, and slowly but surely we can continue growth, and we can feel good about making money. Well, making money and feeling good is really good thing.
Right, and we don't want to copy the worst practices from Wall Street and bring them into the blockchain.
Yeah.
The whole idea about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and everything else was not to copy Wall Street, not to copy the central bank and all of their modern monetary theory, manipulation, right? We wanted to create a new system that acted in the best interest of the community. So copying those practices is hurting all of us. It's not doing anything good, right? And all these companies, they're all sucking money out of the crypto community, so it's not good for anybody.
No. Well, look, you are leading the way, and your community is leading the way, and we're establishing better practices. And I think that the best way to empower others to do good is by showing them that you can do good, and then you do well. And I really appreciate you said that, because I think that that's going to be my reminder now that it is important constantly to concentrate on that good, and then also showing that your good can do you well, and also others well. So there's no oops, I cannot go to that gathering because there's a lot of people that got cross to get me to well. It's more like, I absolutely can go there because we all did well, and it's a great thing to do, and we can celebrate, and kind of they did it almost themselves in some way. So I'm benefiting because they're letting themselves to do well. And so it's almost 3:00, and do you have a little bit more time, or do you have to go?
Let's see, I have one. A few more minutes.
Yeah, a few more minutes. I want to ask you about your hobbies. What are your hobbies?
Well, I don't really have much time for hobbies, but because I also have 6 kids at home. So and my wife has a big career, so she also has a startup, and she's very busy. So between the kids and Celsius and the wife, we. But I love basketball. I love doing kite surfing, riding bikes, running. So all that stuff are things that I love to do when I find the time. But definitely not much time left for those things.
Not much. Well, and children is the joy of life. I have one child, and I really appreciated that you said that. My husband would say too that I have my work. That's my dedication, and then I have a wife and a daughter, and we take a lot of his time and dedication. So we are his everything basically.
It's a very large responsibility. We have the life savings of 300,000 people in our hands, right? So it's a very large responsibility. I mean, people get so disappointed both from the traditional system, they bought the wrong stock, or they sold it at the wrong time, or whatever, and then they got into crypto and they got scammed, and they got pulled into bad projects or whatever, and so everybody comes to Celsius with a scar, very skeptical, right? They all come and they're worried about, okay, is this real? Is it true? Is Alex for real? Is he going to stick around? Is he going to deliver? And so I understand all of that. I mean, it's not, there are, like you said, in 2017, there were over 3,000 projects that got funding, and how many good ones do we have, right? Maybe you can count them on one hand, So unfortunately, tremendous amount of money, I think something like $17 billion, was spent mostly on money grabs and bad projects, and that's why the SEC and other agencies got involved, because after all, they're trying to protect the people. They just showed up too late, you know. But it's enough that few of us deliver, because that's what the internet is. If you look at the internet after 25 years, and how many great companies do we have? About 5. You know, we have Google, we have Amazon, we have, you know, Facebook, and so on and so on. So I think you should not expect more than 5 or 6 great companies on the blockchain. If you expect 100, that your bar is too high, right?
Yeah.
And then the question is really, what is that killer app? What is going to bring 100 million, 200 million people to the blockchain? And I hope that we hit it right with convincing everybody that the yield, or the ability of people to earn money on their money, or the ability of people to have their money work for them instead of them just working for the money. Because when you go to work every day and you take that paycheck and you put it in the bank, and the bank charges you ATM fees to withdraw your own money, and the account fees and checking fees and inactivity fee and fake account fee, there's nothing left after you, and the credit card charges and you know, interest and everything else. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
So, because the world, this idea that your money can earn money just completely disappeared. Like, most people don't even know that that was possible, or that you could live off your savings. You know, because your savings had compounding interest that became enough to pay all your bills. And that's really what we're trying to bring back, right? Is the idea that you can live on your savings.
Yeah. And we must do that too, to empower our children. I think it's so important that we create that infrastructure for them. And I appreciate that you're doing it. So one of the things that I think that you would appreciate it. My daughter came with me to a conference one time. She didn't have school, and it was here in Austin. And so, being the little entrepreneur that she is, she said, "Can I sell something?" Right? So she made Bitcoin cookies and decorated like a unicorn and a little tray with Bitcoin. She sold $350 worth of Bitcoin cookies and stuff. And
I hope she insisted to get paid in Bitcoin.
She did, right. Well, so nobody paid in crypto because it was 2019 April. So it was like one of the, you know, really, really bad timing. Nobody paid in crypto. Everybody paid in cash. But she wanted Bitcoin, so we took that money, we bought her Bitcoin. So now she has almost $1,600. Right, so she's now asking, why does this happen, and what can I do, and what else can I do to where my money keeps making my money? And you know, so she wants a pony, and so she wants to know how she can take her money and still keep her money, but eventually come out with the pony on the back end, right? So like, how do I keep what I have, still make more, but then I get a pony? And it almost kind of a magical concept, but your platform can facilitate her doing that.
A pony is 90% unicorn, you know that. It's just missing the you know.
Yes.
So, but if she puts it in Celsius, she can earn 6.2% on her Bitcoin. So
Okay.
she definitely do that. And the money that she earns in interest may be enough to rent a pony. Once a month, you can rent her a pony. She can take a ride,
right.
And then she can give it back. Because having a pony every day is not so much fun as having it once a month and being able to give it back.
Right. And you know, my kind of idea is let her wait until it compound grows, and then when she's ready to take on the pony responsibility, consider if that's something that
Right.
she wants. So, but
you
that,
can get a racehorse by that time.
right.
You get a full racehorse.
Right.
She doesn't need a pony. Right.
Doesn't need a pony.
Take
Alex,
a farm. If she waits long enough, she can get a farm in Austin with a bunch of racehorses.
Right. Well, we have a farm, so Ara is at our family farm, so she has a space and then we live on Homestead. We have 2.5 acres here in Austin. We have a milking cow and chickens and ducks and stuff. So yeah, we kind of we moved from downtown, you know, walking to Whole Foods to basically being surrounded by nature and animals, and it's been great. But you know, it's definitely interesting to see the children learn from us and understand the opportunities they have, because we had to learn those opportunities. But thank you so much, Alex. I really appreciate sharing your time, and I would like to encourage you to continue pushing forward and continue doing what you're doing through this growth cycle and post the growth cycle. And I'm really hoping that in 10 years, when we're talking, this grows into a global, Celsius grows into a global network that provides and elevates people of poverty, because I think that's what we're working for. We're allowing people to democratization of opportunities and democratization of investments. That's what you're doing, and I appreciate that, because we need that, our children need it, and people in the world need that as well. And so I want to encourage you in those times, to keep on going. If when things get challenging, because everything always ups and downs, please keep on always going. And I hope that in April things stabilize in a way to where you can come to ARA in person. If not, we'd love to have you as a virtual speaker and share your thoughts. And I'm so excited to see where we're going to be in April. So thank you so much, and have a happy new year. And I hope that your dreams for this year exceed the expectations, and it brings more abundance for you and your family and all your friends and networks. So thank you, Alex.
Thanks for having me, and good luck, and thank you for all the work you're doing of educating people and getting people to get comfortable with crypto and the blockchain.
My pleasure. It's a teamwork. We all work together. Maybe we're not working on projects together. Maybe someday in the future we will. Maybe we'll never will, but it is something that we do together. You inspire me, and I believe I inspire you, and that's what our network does. And that's the beauty of crypto industry, is that we do that for each other. We do work together, and from what you're doing, I benefit indirectly. And that's the beauty of it, is that that's the magic of crypto. That's the magic of single source of truth. And thank you for pioneering. Thank you for pushing forward. Thank you for doing it right way and showing persistence and perseverance. And thank you for investing in doing the right things when everybody was just losing their minds. Thank you for not losing your mind, Alex, and keeping your head on your shoulders with a long-term vision.